We are here today to shed some light on what has occurred at the University of Michigan all the way back in 1969 through present. These three courageous survivors are going to tell their stories in a statement. I ask that you listen carefully and honor them. Their courage to come forward and stand today is not only going to help them heal, but is also going to help all the other hundreds, if not thousands, of survivors of this ordeal.
My name is Matt Schembeckler. My father was Bo Schembeckler. Prior to this week, the story I'm sharing with you today has only been shared with my attorneys and 4 other people. My mother, Millie, my deceased brother, Chip, Don Canham, and my father, Bo. It's a deeply personal and painful story of abuse and betrayal, abuse by a trusted doctor and betrayal of my father and the University of Michigan, which he served. My father sent me to Dr. Robert Anderson for my first physical exam around 1969. I was in the 4th grade, and I had to get a physical before starting tackle football with the junior Wolverines. Dr. Anderson was the team doctor, so that's where Bo sent me for my exam. As a 10-year-old kid, I didn't really know what to expect, but what Dr. Anderson did made me uncomfortable. He fondled my genitals and conducted an invasive rectal exam with his finger. I told my mom as soon as I got home, as I was uncomfortable and shaken. She was a registered nurse, and after she had heard what Anderson did, she knew something was wrong, and she wanted me to tell my dad in her presence. When Bo got home, I told him what happened. That did not go well. Bo's temper was legendary, and he lost it. He screamed, "I don't want to hear this. I'm not hearing this." I tried to tell him repeatedly, but my effort earned me a punch in the chest. This was the beginning of the end of the relationship with him. I hoped my father would protect me, but he didn't. My mom didn't give up. She went over Bo's head and asked athletic director Don Canham to come to the house in the following days to hear what occurred. I respected Don Canham and told him what happened to me at the hands of Dr. Anderson. Mr. Canham told my mother, "Okay, I'll handle this, Millie." It was my understanding that Mr. Canham terminated Dr. Anderson, but shortly thereafter, Bo had him reinstated because he needed his team doctor and wanted to ensure Anderson remained part of the Michigan team. In the 10th grade, I needed another football physical, and that meant another trip to Dr. Anderson. This time I was a little older, but still was told to respect doctors. Anderson groped me once again before I stopped him, as it made me feel uncomfortable. The final time I saw Anderson was as a college freshman for another physical exam, as I was just about to start football at Western Michigan. This time, Anderson didn't lay a hand on me. He just signed the paper clearing me to play. Many of the University of Michigan players weren't as fortunate. I trained with them during the summers in the mid-'70s and heard their stories and locker room jokes about Anderson's abuse. We now know, because of survivors coming forward, that Anderson's abuse of players, students for over 30 years was the worst kept secret at the university. I understand the reverence people have for my father, including Jim Harbaugh, but I know the truth. Anderson abused me and countless others over 3 decades. It's clear the culture of abuse at the University of Michigan has not changed and will not change until they acknowledge what happened.
We were a poor working class family, and my parents were very worried about my future and being able to pay for medical bills. Bo promised my family that he would keep me safe and make sure I got the best medical treatment. We were sold. When Bo left my house, my family and I knew there was no question that I was going to become a Michigan man. I was 17 years old and full of piss and vigor and wanting to become a Michigan man and a Michigan football player. But Bo didn't keep me safe. He broke his promise to me and my family in the fall of 1977. My freshman year, I attended my first mandatory physical with Dr. Anderson. During that physical, Dr. Anderson molested and violated me. He inappropriately caressed my testicles while asking me detailed questions about my sex life. After I tried to answer his questions, he bent over and put his head near my penis and began blowing on it, telling me it's okay to get an erection. He then digitally raped my rectum multiple times. I couldn't believe that Bo and the university would break its promise to protect and take care of me like family.
Before my preseason physical, my freshman year, you would hear upperclassmen joking about seeing Dr. Anal. I really didn't know what that Dr. Anal meant. I was told to see Dr. Anderson for my physical. When I had my exam, Dr. Anderson commented on my genitals, played with my genitals, tries to arouse me, and put his finger in my anus. The exam was very painful. I felt humiliated and confused. I never had a medical exam like that before. I had to go back to Dr. Anderson again for either a cold or an injury. Same thing took place. I had a rectal exam, and he played with my penis. After that occasion, I told Bo that Dr. Anderson played with my genitals and put his finger in my anus. Bo said that he would check on that with the medical staff. I never heard back from Bo, and he never discussed it with me again. Other players told me not to bring it up with Bo again for fear that Bo might pull my scholarship. I was told not to rock the boat.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.